have a very strong love for oppressed people, for my people. I want to see them free, and I want to see all oppressed people throughout the world free.
In 1972, the Stones released Exile on Main Street. Even though the album was panned by critics when it was released, nowadays it's considered to be not only one of the greatest Stones albums but one of the greatest albums of all time. One of the songs on the album was Sweet Black Angel, written about Angela Davis. In an interview a couple of years ago, Keith Richards remembered, "The song started as an island lilt sort of thing when we were in Jamaica. After a while the word Sweet Black Angel crept into it, and I realized Mick was writing about Angela Davis, the famous activist who was under arrest at the time. We had never met her, but we admired her from afar." In 1970, Davis, a former philosophy instructor previously terminated for being communist, now faced murder, kidnapping and criminal conspiracy charges. Guns she'd purchased were used in a deadly failed courtroom attempt to free 3 inmates known as the Soledad Brothers, accused of murdering a prison guard. Her spectacularly afroed visage graced the FBI's most wanted list. Davis went on the lam. After about 2 months, she was apprehended in a $30 per day 7th floor Howard Johnson Motor Lodge room in Midtown Manhattan. US President Richard Nixon called Davis a dangerous terrorist. But she hadn't been there at that attempt to spring the Soledad Brothers, and witnesses later testified Davis purchased the firearms in question for guarding the inmates' defense headquarters. After being held in prison 16 months, Davis was finally granted bail. She stood trial, where an all-white jury acquitted her of all charges. The day Exile on Main Street was released, Mick Jagger and his then-wife Bianca participated in a march supporting Angela Davis in Paris. Sweet Black Angel was one of the few political songs the Stones ever did. Other examples are Street Fighting Man from 1968 and Undercover of the Night from 1984. In the 60s, both the Beatles and the Stones spoke out against racism and in favor of the civil rights movement. On their early US tours, the Stones even had a clause in their contract stipulating they wouldn't play in segregated venues. If they arrived to find the promoter had reneged on the agreement, they could walk away with a guaranteed fee of $40,000 without playing. In an interview for New Musical Express in February 1967, Brian Jones said, "We are questioning some of the basic immoralities which are tolerated in present-day society. Racism, the war in Vietnam, the persecution of homosexuals and the illegality of abortion." Basic tracks for Sweet Black Angel were cut at Stargrove's, Jagger's English Country Manor, using the Rolling Stones mobile studio according to recording engineer Andy Johns. Andy Johns said, "The song was done all of them in a room in a circle at the same time, because there was this one room away from the main hall that had no furniture in it with a wooden floor, quite high ceilings and plaster walls. We wanted to get the sound of the room." Other recordings were also done at Keith Richards' home in the south of France, London's Olympic Studios, as well as Sunset Sound Studios in Hollywood. Jimmy Miller contributed guiro, that clicking insect-sounding percussion, and New Orleans musician Richard Didymus Washington played the marimba lines on the outro of the song. Washington was introduced to the Stones by Dr. John. The Stones have only performed Sweet Black Angel live once. That was during the first of 2 Fort Worth, Texas shows played on June 24, 1972. Keith Richards said, "We made the record and thought it was very nice, but it never seemed to really fit into a Stones show. We played it live only once, and it stuck out like a sore thumb.